Hello and welcome to Body Temple Science. So before we jump into the 10 habits, it's important to preface them by emphasizing the importance of intention. In order to activate this great power within you, I encourage you to adopt a strong practice of discipline, wisdom, love, and surrender. In doing this, you will be led into being in better balance with your body, your mind, your spirit, in better connection with your Creator, and in the vast universe that surrounds you and all of us, and that is also a part of you and everyone. This is the law of oneness. It's so important for us all to focus daily on love. Love for ourselves, love for our friends and family, for our pets, for strangers, for the people of this planet, and for all creation, including our perceived enemies. And by doing this, we have integrity. Okay, so integrity, this is through awareness of our judgments, our feelings, good or bad, our self-talk, good or bad, shame, pride. It's important to remain focused in our decision to choose a higher path for ourselves and for our fellow men. All right, and so once we've taken responsibility for those judgments, those stories, those feelings, it's important to surrender. Surrender anything that feels like an attachment to person, place, or thing, or an outcome, anything that we choose in our belief system, our own personal belief systems, that defines our worth as a being on this planet. Now, this is going to lead us to truly embracing the idea that no matter what, now we've all heard this and we can all nod our heads, yes, I agree, but to truly integrate with the idea that you are a divine child of the Creator, and there's nothing that you could do, be, have, believe, say, or not do that is going to change that. Okay, so let it all go with joy and gratitude. For more information on the power of intention, I invite you to read the book by the same title, The Power of Intention, written by the great late Dr. Wayne Dyer. The link to that book will be in the description below. All right, now on to the 10 daily habits. Habit number 1, healthy food. So the bulk of our diet, our staples should be a variety of vegetables and fruits in season, nuts, beans, sprouted seeds, whole grains, low-fat dairy, fermented foods like yogurt, pickled vegetables, sauerkraut, kimchi. It's also important to watch our salt intake, and when we do have salt, try and keep it natural. You want to avoid the table salt, has additives in it that keep the salt from caking together, and it's not good for the body, so really try and stick to pure sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. Avoid refined sugar, refined flours, and eat meat sparingly. Try to get your meats no more than 1 or 2 servings a week, preferably fatty fish. And red meat, the liver will store the nutrients from, let's say, roast beef or steak or something like that up to 3 months in the body, so you really don't need to be eating red meat more than once every month or 2. All right, let's jump into some foods that provide nutrients that most people are deficient in. So foods, where do we start? A lot of people are deficient in some nutrients that the body tends to need a lot of. So don't stop using your stomach space up with filling it with pasta and the comfort foods. I know they're comfortable, I know, but you can change your mindset. You can change your mindset to put foods in there that will become comforting, just as comforting as the foods that you eat now that are really not feeding you. All right, and so let's get started. Here are some of the best foods to eat regularly because they are excellent for your health. Most of these foods are really high in two specific vitamins, which are vitamin A and vitamin C. And that is for a reason. The body really needs those. And like I said, most people are deficient. And not only are these foods so good for you, but they are delicious. And when I say that, I mean by saying they weren't always my favorite foods, but since I've adopted them as staples in my diet, they have truly become my comfort foods, and I love them. They're so good. First up on the food list is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are loaded with carotenoids, and they are a great source of potassium and fiber. So my favorite ways to prepare sweet potato is one, just wrap it in foil and bake it like you would a regular potato, with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt. Wrap it up, bake it for about 45 minutes on 350. Another way I like to prepare it is to cut it into wedges, drizzle with olive oil, and roast until tender, lightly browned. Delish. Sweet potato tastes great when you spice it up with something like cinnamon, cardamom. I like to use allspice. Sometimes I use curry powder and black pepper, or just some chili powder, depending on what I'm pairing it with. For lunch or dinner, that's what I do. I love it. I encourage you to give that a try. Get creative. Next on the food list is mangoes. So in a single cup of mango, you're going to get 100% of your daily recommended dosage of vitamin C, and you're going to get 1/3 of your daily recommended dosage of vitamin A. And you're also going to get a decent amount of potassium and 3 grams of healthy fiber. So eat up the mangoes. They're very good for you. Next on the list is plain Greek yogurt. Plain meaning unsweetened, nothing added. I prefer the Fage brand, spelled F-A-G-E. Looks like phage, sounds like Fage. Give it a try. Studies show that low-fat or fat-free unsweetened Greek yogurt is the best. This is a personal call for you, just depending on if you have kids in the home. I would go with the 2% or 4%. It really doesn't matter. It's just whatever your preference is. But studies have shown that the 0% fat unsweetened Greek yogurt has twice the protein of ordinary yogurt, about 15 grams in 5 ounces of plain 0% Greek yogurt. I don't know what the numbers are for the 2% or the 4% Greek yogurt, but it's probably the same, 15 grams in 5 ounces. It's very healthy for you. Definitely start incorporating this into your daily diet. It's great for gut health and for digestion. And the more you do it every day, the better you're going to start feeling, especially if you're suffering with digestive issues. This Greek yogurt is my go-to to use in smoothies to make them creamy. Also, this really quenches my desire for needing some kind of dessert like ice cream or pudding or pie or cake. It really hits the spot, takes those cravings right away. I personally love it drizzled with raw local honey, and then I sprinkle it with ground flaxseed and add some berries for color and extra nutrition and antioxidants. Okay, next on the list is broccoli. Excellent source of vitamin K and folate, as well as very high in vitamin C and carotenoids as well. So broccoli is one of those foods that's actually more nutritious for you if it's steamed. Okay, so just lightly steam it until it's bright green and just tender. You don't want to overcook this. Try and use a bamboo steamer. I don't know what it is about bamboo versus the just steaming it in a regular stainless steel in a pot. There's something about the bamboo that flavors the broccoli. I can't explain it. I'm not really a food scientist. Maybe ask a chef why that is. But yeah, try and use bamboo. If not, don't worry about it. Give it a good steam, bright green, tender. Add a sprinkle of salt, and you're good to go. Next on the list, we have fatty fish. I think everyone's go-to is wild salmon. I have yet to meet someone who doesn't like salmon. This is my personal favorite. Absolutely love it. Fatty fish like salmon, also sardines, they're rich in omega-3s, omega-3 fats. The brain is fat. Okay, our body needs certain fat-soluble vitamins. Those vitamins are the omegas, the vitamins A, D, E, and K. These help reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes, okay, and also degenerative brain diseases. Many sources of wild-caught salmon are actually more sustainable than the farmed salmon. When salmon is not in season, there's different places where you can actually still get it. So some of the meat companies where you can get mail order meat, if they're not out of it, you can send for it frozen. They'll ship it right to your door. You can also get it in the canned section. Right on the cans, it'll tell you if it's wild caught. It's a good way to preserve it, the wild caught salmon. I also get the sardines, and you can get them in the pouches. You can also find them in your grocery store frozen section. As long as it says wild caught on it, you're good to go. Oatmeal, yes, I eat it every morning. Sometimes I'll even eat it again because I really enjoy oatmeal. And not only is it so good for you, but a half a cup of dry, plain rolled oats has 4 grams of fiber, and roughly half of that fiber is the soluble kind. And what that means is it's been scientifically proven to help lower your cholesterol. So anyone out there struggling with cholesterol levels, especially if your doctor is telling you if you're on medication for that, or they're telling you you're going to need to be on medication soon, start eating oatmeal for breakfast every single morning and see what happens. So oatmeal probably has a reputation of being bland or boring, but I encourage you to have fun creating variations of this healthy food. Many ideas like fresh fruit toppings and spices are easy to find on social media sites like Instagram or Tumblr. I follow a couple of accounts on those apps because they really do have great pictures and detail of the recipes that they do with oatmeal. It's pretty fun to read up on them and get some really good ideas on how to dress up your oatmeal so you're not having the same old oatmeal every single morning. Next up, garbanzo beans. Now, I love all beans, and all beans are really healthy for you. My favorites are pinto, but my all-time favorite would probably be garbanzo beans or chickpeas. So beans are rich in protein, fiber, copper, folate, iron, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. Now, these nutrients are really good for the blood. Blood carries oxygen to every cell, system, organ, and tissue in your entire body. So beans are going to help circulate oxygen, and that has a long list of healthy benefits. So daily consumption of your protein coming from beans and legumes is excellent. There's a couple of reasons why I more suggest garbanzo beans. They stand out because I believe they're more versatile in the diet. And the other reason is because my favorite way to get beans into my diet is by eating hummus, of course. It's like one of my favorite foods ever. So I prefer to make my own hummus. I'm kind of a hummus snob that way. But in a pinch, I'm perfectly fine going out and finding the Sabra brand hummus, which is usually available at any local grocery store, at Costco. Perfectly suitable replacement for homemade hummus. If you're not a fan of hummus, you can just get the Rosarita vegetarian refried beans and make recipes from that. Any kind of organic bean that you like. I rinse the beans before you put them in any recipe. There's something in that gooey liquid in beans that tends to contribute to digestion issues like gas. So give them a good rinse, mash them up if you're going to use them in some kind of a hummus alternative, or like a refried bean or pate or whatever. Anyway, or just put them on salad. A lot of good ideas to incorporate beans into your daily diet out there. I encourage you to find out what they are and get creative with that as well. Next up is watermelon. So watermelon, a standard serving, which is about 2 cups, or probably like 2, hand size, wedges of watermelon, has about 1/3 of your daily recommended dosage of vitamin A and C. It's also another nice shot of potassium, and also you get a healthy dose of lycopene. So for anyone out there that's avoiding the nightshade vegetables, which is like tomato, eggplant, you can definitely get your lycopene from watermelon instead of the tomato products, tomato sauce, etc. Any fruits and vegetables that you're incorporating into your daily diet, especially with watermelon, I will say that when they're in season, watermelons are actually very often locally grown. Okay, meaning they will grow just about anywhere. And that means that they may have a smaller carbon footprint than some other fruits that you can find in your local farmer's market. So I encourage you to really get used to this wonderful fruit. I've also learned that it's good for flushing the kidneys. It's like giving your kidneys a spa day every time you have watermelon. So try and have that at least maybe once a week. And I mean like fill your belly. I try to get watermelon in as a mono meal, meaning I will only eat watermelon when I'm eating watermelon, and that's my meal. So I encourage you to do that. Try it, see how you feel, and let me know in the comments below. And next up on the food list is butternut squash. Now, nothing against the other squashes, they're great. Butternut in particular is just more dense, it's more filling. Diced butternut squash can be ready to go. Like most grocery stores actually will cut it up for you, and you can get it that way to save yourself the hassle of chopping it up at home. But my favorite way to do it is just to cut it in half, and then I roast it on a cookie sheet, okay, in the oven. And then after that, I can just use it in stir fry. I can use it to make soup. This is just another easy way and very satisfying way to get lots of vitamins A and C, and also your fiber. Again, with the vitamins A and C, bodies need it, so give it to your body. Okay, next up is obvious leafy greens like kale, collard greens, spinach, mustard greens, and Swiss chard. Now these leafy greens are loaded with vitamins A, again C, also vitamin K, folate, which is a kind of iron, I think, which again helps with carrying oxygen through the blood where it needs to go. You get potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, and fiber. People, if you are suffering from leg cramps or sore tired muscles long after your exercise, to where like you can't exercise every day, like you're still sore on day 3, you need more leafy greens in your diet. Okay, so again, leafy greens are loaded with A, C, K, folate, potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, and fiber. Make sure you are eating at least 2 to 5 servings of these a day. So my favorite green is sauteed Swiss chard, and I saute that in a little bit of olive oil with some minced garlic, ground black pepper, red wine vinegar. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll add a poached egg or 2 to my sauteed greens. It's great for your skin, your bones, your connective tissues, your teeth. It's high in collagen. Eggs is something that they give to burn victims who are hospitalized after they've been badly burned, because it helps their skin grow back faster. It's great for healing the skin and other things. So if garden fresh greens are not available, whether that's because they're not in season, your budget isn't really allowing you to go all out on the produce right now, or if you're a college student and you just don't have room in your dorm to be storing and preserving these greens for up to 3 days, just use a good quality green powder to supplement with, and you should be good to go. Whew, so we got through the food. Let's get to habit number 2, exercise. So I know this one's obvious. So instead of citing some medical articles on why you need to get more exercise and how to get more exercise, why it's so important, what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to offer some insight and perspective on this particular topic. So if you're serious about really starting in on either getting exercising because you're not doing it now, or if you're wanting to, scale up and get more serious about the exercise that you're already doing, think about this for a second. If you lived in ancient times, how much more walking would you do in your lifetime then versus being here now in the 21st century? Okay, so most estimates indicate that our ancestors, on average, daily, covered distances in the range of 6 to 16 kilometers per day. That's approximately 3.7 to 9 miles a day walking. Okay, now if we go back even further to the hunter-gatherer point of human history. So this is before the Fertile Crescent. Humans know what fire is. They know how to build shelters, but they haven't quite figured out farming yet. Hunter-gatherers. So on the Natchez Trace, I hope I said that right, the Natchez Trace original route, which is in the Midwest United States, there was a stand, quote-unquote stand, every 20 miles to accommodate travelers who on average walked 20 miles a day. Think about that for a second, 20 miles a day. Also, people from these hunter-gatherer tribes, they went down rivers and dug out canoes, including the mighty Mississippi. All right, and they went to coastal areas and walked the many trails leading northward back to their home bases in the summertime. So it's safe to say those people were moving a lot more than our little goals of today. Also, visitors at Disneyland who kept track of their logged walking distances were measured anywhere from 6 to 12 miles in a single day at the theme park. So let that sink in for a minute. Here's modern day people who are actually walking 6 to 12 miles in a single day because they're not thinking about it being a chore. They're having fun with their families. They're taking pictures with Mickey. They've got all these positive, happy, healthy hormones flowing through their body from all the fun rides they're riding. And they are just no problem walking 6 to 12 miles in a single day, even though they're not necessarily used to that. So think about that. Set your goals accordingly. Don't go too crazy. Start where you're at and increase the distance gradually at a safe pace. And obviously check with your doctor, especially if you have any underlying problems or issues, or if you're over 40 years old. Now, when setting your goals for daily exercise, more important than setting certain measures that you want to be getting to, make sure that you're including exercise that you love. It's important to fall in love with movement again, okay, just like when you were a little kid. All right, so like I said, the people who are going 6 to 12 miles at Disneyland aren't thinking about it. So try and find an activity, some kind of movement that you know you're going to get lost in it. You're going to be caught up in the excitement and the love of moving. And I just don't stick to it. But if a child were to look into a hamster cage and watch the rat or the hamster on the wheel, they would probably get excited and imagine themselves as a hamster or as a mouse or something. And they probably are a little bit like, I wish I had a wheel to spin on. So try and approach your exercise through the mind and the eyes of a child, and you will see the fun in just about anything. So if using a recumbent bike or an elliptical or a treadmill is your only option, don't worry about it. Just breathe, have fun. Just do your exercise through the mind and the eyes of a child, and everything will be okay. Habit number 3, sunlight. I think this might be my favorite habit. So when natural sunlight hits my skin, I can feel it triggering my body's production of vitamin D. Now, vitamin D, it's known as the sunshine vitamin or the happy vitamin. So there's a reason for that. Remember, the brain is fat. So vitamin D is one of the fat-soluble vitamins, meaning it helps with hormone production. It is a crucial ingredient for overall health. It protects against inflammation. It lowers high blood pressure. It helps muscles. It improves brain function and may even protect against cancer. Now, the precursors of vitamin D, that is molecules that produce the vitamin, which I believe the molecules are actually cholesterol that get up to the surface of the skin. So present in your skin is the molecules that help produce this vitamin, and they are activated by the sunshine hitting the skin. And so soaking in some morning sun about 10 to 15 minutes is a beautiful idea. Habit number 4, water. Drinking water. Staying hydrated. So I know this is another obvious habit to most, but I'll add some insight to this one as well. So there's a lot of opinions out there of what water should we be drinking. Some people say it's got to be distilled, and some people say it's got to be fresh local spring water, etc. I would just say, for me, I just check my local water statistics for the water quality. I live in an area with good quality water. So try to do your best to avoid fluoridated water. Our body, we just don't need fluoride in the water. There is fluoride in certain foods, and offhand, I don't know what those foods are right now. But fluoride is a poison, and yeah, dentists say it's good for your teeth, etc. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that there's no business with fluoride being in the municipal water. So if your city tap water is good, like in my community, don't bother spending money on bottled water and filtered water if you don't have to. It's my opinion that local spring water is best, but whatever you decide is best for you, wherever you get your water, just bless it before you drink it. And that goes for food too. Blessing your food and water before you consume it is a good practice. So for thousands of years, Kabbalists, mystics, monks, prophets have used water for physical and spiritual cleansing. So if you've ever heard of a mikvah was an ancient Hebrew water purification ceremony, which usually takes place in it looks like a tub or a stone, almost like a baptismal font that was placed in different corners or edges of the Hebrew temple. And they considered them almost like a cosmic womb, which is a sacred pool of running water, or also in a clean stream. And people have used this ceremony for thousands of years. It connects us to the force of all natural waters and all mikvahs on the planet. And of course, in more modern times, it was made famous by the Essene John the Baptist in the River Jordan. We all know that story. The belief is that the water's metaphysical and cosmic essence acts as a cosmic solvent, and it cleanses us physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually from impurities. The masters also taught that water can actually heal, rejuvenate, and even hold the secret to immortality. All right, so to bless your water, you can use a prayer from the sacred text of your choice. Also, you could compose your own. You could also just sit in silence with gratitude and loving intention toward the water. Or you can use this prayer from the Essene Gospel of Peace, Book 2. Angel of water, holy messenger of the earthly mother, enter the blood that flows through me. Wash my body in the rain that falls from heaven, and give me the water of life. And we're on habit number 5, eliminate toxins. So one strategy I use is dry brushing. It's just using a dry brush to lightly kind of brush the skin, and emphasis on lightly. From your fingertips, up your arms, always towards the heart. You also do that from your toes up to your hip and groin area. You can also do like the torso area is a very high, has a high amount of lymph activity. So that's what I do for getting the lymph system clean and refreshed. You can do that every day, every other day. You know it's working when your skin turns that either pink or kind of slightly reddish color. You know you're doing it right. Again, don't push too hard. Gentle strokes, just barely stimulating the blood flow to the outer surface of the skin will suffice. Now, the best way to eliminate toxins, however, and check with your doctor first, because if you're medically able to do so, the best way to eliminate toxins by far is by fasting. Now, many religions and cultures teach this, but modern science has also witnessed the benefits of fasting. In general, most types of fasts are performed over 24 to 72 hours. Now, intermittent fasting, however, involves cycling between periods of eating and fasting, ranging from anywhere from a few hours to a few days at a time. Medically speaking, fasting has been shown to have many health benefits. Okay, so that includes increased weight loss, better brain function, also people who are underweight and have used intermittent fasting to gain muscle. So here are 8 health benefits of fasting backed by science. All right, so the benefits are that it promotes blood sugar control by reducing insulin resistance. It promotes better health by fighting inflammation. Also, it has shown in studies to enhance heart health by improving blood pressure. Also, the triglyceride and the cholesterol levels are improved by fasting. It also, we're on number 4, it boosts brain function and helps prevent neurodegenerative disorders. Number 5, it aids weight loss by limiting calorie intake and boosting metabolism. Also, it increases growth hormone secretion, which is vital for growth, metabolism, weight loss, muscle gain. So even if you're underweight and you're not wanting to lose weight, you're actually wanting to gain muscle, fasting has been shown to help with that as well. Also, it could delay aging and extend longevity. Of course, I think that shouldn't be a could, that should be a it does. Also, it's been shown to aid in cancer prevention and also helps increase the effectiveness of chemotherapy. I'm a cancer survivor, and I can attest to the fact that fasting in certain times throughout my therapy was actually better for me than eating a bunch of food. Cancer patients are often encouraged to eat. And if you can't eat or nothing sounds good, have a milkshake. I don't know, hopefully things have changed. For me, that was what my doctors and nurses were telling me about 12 to 15 years ago when I did go through my cancer issue. But yeah, they were really encouraged us to eat. In fact, we were given steroids prior to every chemotherapy treatment that we had to encourage us to eat. So there were times though where I did choose to fast instead of eating. It was probably a little bit against doctor's advice. I don't necessarily encourage you to do that if you are dealing with cancer treatment right now. But I did it for emotional. I didn't really do it to lose weight. Obviously, I was already pretty skinny, but I did it for spiritual purposes, and I experienced benefits in more ways than one: physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. So it's a very powerful tool for manifestation, for answer to prayers, etc. Now, the types of fasting include, so there's dry fasting, where for about a 24-hour to 48-hour period you go with nothing to drink, nothing to eat. There's water fasting, that involves only drinking water for a set amount of time. Juice fasting entails only drinking vegetable or fruit juice for a certain period. If you've seen the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, if you haven't, I encourage you to do so. But that would be an example of juice fasting. Intermittent fasting is quite the rave right now. Intake is partially or completely restricted for a few hours. up to a few days at a time, and a normal diet is resumed on other days. Partial fasting, I also call this elimination diet. So certain foods or drinks, such as processed foods, animal products, or caffeine, are eliminated from the diet for a set period. And what I mean by elimination diet is if you are suffering from some kind of illness or allergy or sensitivity that could be attributed to diet, you would eliminate pretty much everything, and you would just go on one food for a week, and then the next week you will add another food, and so on. And this is something that's done for allergies, mostly in children. Also, some people with kids who have autism will do that elimination diet to see if there's certain foods that where their child's autism is more manageable. That's how they'll find out what the trigger foods are that makes their children more or less autistic or not, to help them with that disorder. Calorie restriction. This is what I do, where calories are restricted for a few days every week. Basically, every Saturday, I completely dry fast. So on Friday evening, I have a meal around sunset, and then I break my fast the sunset on the Saturday night. So like basically the Hebrew Sabbath, I completely fast. And that's what I do every week. Sometimes if I'm feeling like I can't do it dry, I will actually I have a drink that I do. It's a cleansing herbal drink. It makes me feel satiated, but I'm still getting all the benefits of cleansing. Link to that product will be in the description below. So let's talk about the spiritual benefits of fasting. So in the religious and spiritual communities, fasting is widely known as an act of discipline and self-control. Spiritual fasting is how you practice your ability to manage the desires of the flesh. And also in the spiritual and religious communities, we do recognize fasting as something that's beneficial to the body and our physical health. It also helps remove things like addictions, basically earthly things that we eliminate so that we can create space for our higher power. By reminding us to rely on God for everything, by helping us to be filled with His Spirit, by opening our hearts to hearing His voice. So important also to renew our appreciation for God and for His blessings, for His creations, especially ourselves, for giving us the power in our ability to offer prayers and to have them answered, and to truly hear the answer and understand it and perceive it. And what this does is it creates an environment for miracles, and it helps us to more fully understand God's Word, His power, His personal revelations to us, and to truly absorb and appreciate that. And habit number 6, breathe. Breathe fresh air. And just like the importance of drinking fresh, living water, air is also best taken in a natural way, away from city pollution whenever possible. When it's not possible to do this on a daily basis, try to get into nature. Drive to a canyon, take a bus, take an Uber to like your local canyon or lake or something away from the city. But if that's not possible, don't stress out about the quality of the air. Just go ahead and breathe it in anyway and be grateful for it. It's important to focus on what you can control and just let the rest go. And same as your food and water, do the best you can with what you have and say a prayer. Say a prayer on the air that you're breathing. So my daily prayer when I practice my breathing is from the Essene Gospel of Peace, Book 2. O angel of air, holy messenger of the earthly mother, enter deep within me as the swallow plummets from the sky, that I may know the secrets of the wind and the music of the stars. Habit number 7, rest. All right, so people, we should be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. 7 to 8 hours is the sweet spot, preferably on a rhythm, on some kind of circadian rhythm or something your body is acclimated to. So go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning. That's ideal. Now, more than 9 hours of sleep a day is not ideal, and it also may be a sign of underlying problems. It might not mean that you're lazy. In fact, it probably doesn't. So if you're getting more than 9 hours of sleep a day, check with a health professional. And also, if you suffer with insomnia, now there has been some research having to do with herbs and supplements that help balance sleep rhythms. I actually, as much as I've been into studying and researching on health, I just heard about this a few months ago and started using an herbal supplement for this because I was actually dealing with sleep issues myself. Now, a link to that product is in the description below. So if you are dealing with sleep disorder of any kind, meaning insomnia, or you're sleeping more than 9 to 10 hours a day, definitely check that link out and see if that's something that you think will help you. All right, so when you get your sleep figured out, the benefits of proper rest include a sharper mind, a healthy mood, healthy memory, a healthier heart, better athletic achievement, which means, less aches and pains, easier recovery after exercise, balanced blood sugar. Again, there we go with the blood sugar. It's very important to get a healthy diet, to get proper hydration, sleep, less stress. Also, the benefits of sleep is a healthier immune function. Very, very, very paramount that we get good sleep for our immune functions to work properly. Habit number 8, eliminate stress. So it is my strong belief that this goes hand in hand with eliminating toxins from the physical body. And the reason is because stress has actually been medically, scientifically proven to cause physical problems if you have chronic stress and it goes unchecked. All right, so to eliminate stress from your life, write down the things, people, places, and activities that cause you stress, and either A, discontinue your participation with those stressors, or B, just like the toxic solution, conduct a 1 to 3 day fast from the things that are stressing you out. The persons, places, or things that are stressing you out, and see how that changes your stress. Now, it's important to be patient with this process because sometimes when we are detoxifying, whether that is mentally or physically, sometimes we can experience a kind of withdrawal from the things that are toxic to us when we stop consuming them. So for more about having a healing crisis whenever you're detoxifying, whether that's physically or especially if you're detoxifying mentally or emotionally, check out the documentary What the Bleep Do We Know, starring, I think her name's Marlee Matlin. Also check out the book Molecules of Emotion. The author of that book's name right now is, I can't think of it, but I will put those, I will add those to the description below this video. So be gentle with yourself throughout this process. And when you have toxic emotions come up out of nowhere, it's okay. They're coming out for a reason. You want them out. So just kind of ask yourself questions to process the emotions. Go ahead and accept them and let them be. But ask questions like, why am I experiencing this emotion right now? When do I remember first having this feeling? Another good question to ask is, what is this feeling here to teach me? Now, here's the trick to this exercise. There's no right or wrong answers to these questions. The most important thing you can do is to listen to the answer that's coming from inside and to see this as an exploration. Having a desire to understand is more important than what the answer is. So ask the right questions, listen, be patient, And also keep a journal through this process, because this is what's really going to help with your healing, so that you can go back and have reflection and really look and see what's going on. And you can keep a journal will help you keep your perspectives open, and you will really start to have aha moments and some great breakthroughs with this process. Habit number 9, having an attitude of gratitude. So with the daily practice of eliminating stress from our life, try to replace those patterns, those thought patterns, with becoming the kind of person who regularly practices gratitude. And when you do that, you're taking time to notice and reflect upon the things that you're thankful for. And when you do that, you're going to be like other people who've been researched and scientifically studied. And the results of having an attitude of gratitude every day is that you're going to experience more positive emotions. You're going to feel more alive. You're going to sleep better and express more compassion and kindness, not just in words, but you're going to feel it on the inside out. It's going to be genuine compassion and kindness for yourself and for your fellow men. And it also benefits your immune system. So there you go. Let's have attitudes of gratitude and stay healthy by doing it. And finally, habit number 10, benevolence, which is the human quality of being well-meaning and kind. So it's pretty simple, guys. This one, it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, some would call this the law of karma or the law of cause and effect. But I think it goes much deeper than that. See, the trick is that sometimes we experience effects that don't really seem like we deserve them. Like we don't have it coming. And that means the same as if you're getting some kind of praise or accolade, or if you've got some form of negativity in your face, whether that's an experience or some person is getting in your face about something and it came out of nowhere because you're just this kind, benevolent person. So either way, here's the bottom line. This is, I think, the meat of what I'm trying to say. How committed are we to responding from the space of benevolence versus reacting from our ego mind with defensiveness and hostility when something shows up in our life or in our experience that doesn't quite make sense on that karmic, cosmic cause and effect level, if you grasp my meaning. So with practicing the art of benevolence, it's important to just be grateful for every moment when we are tested to apply this law. Go ahead and celebrate your wins. Go ahead and be grateful for your accolades. And if there's ever times, like, because we're human, we're not perfect, where we fall short, where we don't quite hit that goal of gratitude, of benevolence, we just take a breath, kind of like take a time out, humbly and patiently reflect on the lessons when we don't get it quite right. So whether we perceive ourselves as winning and doing well or not doing so great, it's the awareness of and the intentions toward benevolence that has many surprising health benefits for your body, your mind, and your spirit. So that's it for the habits today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video and for visiting my channel. And this was my first video, so please let me know how I did in the comments below. Any suggestions, any critiques, as long as it's constructive, that would be awesome and very, very helpful. Have a great day. I'm hoping to upload a new video every week. Be safe and be well, and God bless everyone. So you can check description below for links to resources for this video, as well as products that I use, and they may also help you in your journey to vibrant health as well.